Hi, I'm Matt Potratz, and it's always a pleasure to get a few minutes with you. As I visited a gentleman in jail this week that I've mentored for a while, it was interesting to listen to him justify what he'd done. As I drove away that night, I thought, wow, we justify our behavior to others or to ourselves on a continuous basis. If we could get a bird's eye view of the human race walking through everyday life, I think we'd be surprised how often we justify our behavior. Even if it's not expressed outwardly, we're having an internal conversation with ourselves, convincing ourselves that our behavior is justifiable. In fact, there's no doubt that a majority of our justification involves only one party, a person named me. Over the course of the last 50 or so years, social psychologists have discovered that one of the most powerful, decisive factors in human behavior stems from our need to maintain a stable, positive self-image. If we could exact true honesty from people, most believe that they're above average, more ethical and competent, better drivers, better leaders, better judges of character, and even more attractive than the majority. I've even caught myself looking in the mirror and telling myself, you're pretty good looking compared to most banged up one-armed guys. As if I need to justify myself. But if we view ourselves to be reasonable, moral, smart, and good looking, what happens when we are confronted with the reality that we have behaved in ways that are actually unreasonable, immoral, or stupid? Then what? Unfortunately, I believe that at that point we lower the standard a bit by lowering our perception of reality. We might begin to compare ourselves to what we consider to be a lower class of society. Maybe we say, well, at least I have a job, justifying our struggle at work. Or possibly, at least I'm not in prison, justifying our wrongdoing. Or how about, yeah, but I'm not a wife beater, justifying our verbal abuse to our spouse. The bottom line is, if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's unhealthy, it's unhealthy. If it's destructive, it's destructive. If it's hurtful, it's hurtful. If we justify our behavior, we in turn don't hold ourselves accountable for the wrong we've done. A good illustration of this mode of false perception is something that millions of people do several times a day. Smoke cigarettes. If you smoke, please don't take offense. I'm not putting a finger on you. I'm simply offering it as a great example to help us get this concept. Because medical science has proven so, most smokers are aware that smoking significantly increases the risks of lung cancer, emphysema, and earlier death. How can you reduce this risk? The most direct way is to change your behavior and give up smoking. Your behavior would then be consistent with your knowledge of the link between smoking and cancer or other health issues. Although many people have succeeded in quitting, it's not easy. Many have tried and failed. What do these people do? It would be kind of ridiculous to just assume that they just simply swallow hard, light up, and prepare to die. They don't. I discovered where researchers studied the behavior and attitudes of heavy smokers who attended a smoking cessation clinic, but then relapsed into heavy smoking again. Researchers discovered that heavy smokers who tried to quit and failed managed to lower their perception of the dangers of smoking. By doing so, they could continue to smoke without feeling terrible about it. And age didn't seem to matter. Check this out. A study of more than 360 adolescent smokers found the same thing. The greater their dependence on smoking and the greater the trouble they had quitting, the more justifications they came up with to keep smoking. When I was in high school, I even heard kids say something like, I might smoke, but very few can beat my mile time, justifying to himself that it wasn't affecting his athletic ability. Most people think of themselves as rational beings, and generally they're right. Humans are certainly capable of rational thought. But as we often see, the need to maintain our self-image leads to thinking that is not always rational. Rather, it's rationalizing. People who are searching for ways to reduce the consequences of their behavior are so involved with convincing themselves that they are right that they frequently end up behaving irrationally. I can nearly write a book on this subject. Maybe someday I will. But my challenge to you this week is to take a bird's eye view of your life and be real with yourself. What areas in your life have you adjusted your perception in order to justify your behavior? Is it wrong? Is it hurting someone? Or are you simply hurting yourself? Justifying moral, healthy behavior is easy. It doesn't need justification. Rather than justify, let's adjust our behavior to be that in which is already justified, doing the right thing. It's a process, not an event. My process has been grounded in this verse from the Bible, in the book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. For this is what the Lord requires, to do what is right, to love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. If I can accomplish those three things, I stand justified.